Hi, gang sexy. American Devil, scenario S71 from Starter Kit. This is the Japanese. Probably not the smartest choice for me to have chosen this game to play because I've just played only one scenario with vehicles. I think I got a decent enough grasp on it. So anyhow, uh, to do the first half of this phase, Japanese, of course, they were the first to go. That took me a little while because of adjusting to the way the casualties are for these Japanese units and morale stuff like that. And then, of course, a few more vehicles in this one here. And as you can see, and I should have asked Rob from Spotting Round his opinion first before I did this because I brought these tanks to the front, and you can see 4 burning hulks of Japanese vehicles. All right, 1 taken out by a bazooka, 2 taken out by a bazooka, 1 taken out by a 37 LL American vehicle, and another one taken out by a 37 LL anti-tank gun. So they still have 1, 2, 3, 4 vehicles left. The 2 with the 57s on them. They don't have much in the way of the machine gun firepower, but then again, this is, I know that this map doesn't show jungle, but all the ASL players out there, they know that, this stuff can become, like the woods in this one are light jungle. The grain is kunai grass. The swamp hexes are bamboo. Sorry, the brush hexes are bamboo. The orchards are palm trees, which apparently they're always in season. This path would normally be nothing, or this road would be nothing but a path through the woods. But in this one here, it says the scenario says that you treat it like a road going through the woods, so trail, road, whatever it may be. But so we got through turn 1. The American phase of the turn went a lot faster, and there's no doubt in my mind I'm making mistakes. I don't think I'm making mistakes with infantry. I think one of the things though that I do struggle with is firing the special weapons mortars. I think I'm better with the vehicles, the tanks, than I am with the darn special weapon mortars. I really have to. It seems like every time I go to shoot one, and the Japanese have, they've got like 3 or 4 of them in this game alone. The Americans got 1. I have to go check my rules, and of course, starter kit. Not having the depth, I guess, of regular ASL. Sometimes it's like there's stuff that looks like it's missing. That maybe there's a rule missing that might make everything a lot easier, and I don't know what it is. But objective, other than to destroy stuff, the Japanese can get victory points for these structures here on map O. I think they get 2 of them for all the ones down here in this corner. And I don't think there's any other ones, but they get maybe these first 2 here, they might get 1 for those or something like that. But you get points for killing units, and it's got quite a long list of victory conditions there on what kind of points you get. But hey, I'm chugging along. This is the end of the first turn. The Japanese are pushing. They've knocked out a couple American units. The Americans are going to get reinforcements on game 2. Another couple of armored vehicles and some more infantry, and a very nice leader. Yeah, I mean, the Japanese have lost 2 full squads already, and they've got 1 that's reduced. And they used the demo chart pretty effectively on an infantry unit. Couldn't get away from it. So, but yeah, that's how that goes. Anyhow, so that's the end of turn 1. We'll get back to you after we finish turn 2. Talk to you soon. All right, we are 2 turns down, and this has been a nightmare for Japanese armor and a nightmare for U.S. infantry. The Japanese have driven the infantry out of the jungle here, and they've had to scatter back to here, over to here. They got broken units all over the place. Matter of fact, no, he's not DM'd. Okay, so I'm still trying to grasp I know when you place a DM when a unit fails a morale check, like from fire combat or something like that. But I'm always wondering, like this guy wasn't. He had his DM removed. So, and he didn't have to route again, so I guess he's okay. But this guy here, he was in here, and he got chased away some. Okay, so he was broken without a DM when the route phase came up. So he was broken and adjacent to the enemy, so I'm sure he had to place the DM mark on him, so boom, 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 he's out. These guys were the same. Okay, they were in next to enemy units. All right, so the American armored vehicles have been doing well. And then on this turn, you get an M4, you get a Sherman. He's burning in the middle of an open field because that tank over there caught him when he crossed into this open field. And I almost kept moving. I said, oh, shit, this guy can hit him. So I stopped him here. He fired, and damn it, if he didn't he rolled like super low on his 2 hit. And then the kill was nothing. So the Sherman got onto the battlefield, raced up here. He was going to sit here and take on this infantry and help these guys out. Now he's not doing nothing but setting fire to the grass in that area. So the Americans got 2 armored vehicles left. They got the AT gun sitting, he's just raised hell. Him and this 37LL down here, they have just raised hell with that armor. I still got a bazooka guy sitting here that nobody's closed on yet. Might end up bringing that bazooka up and shooting one of these things in his houses if they don't move out. But the Japanese infantry now is going to start pushing because they've got to get down here on this end of the map. I played a whole turn tonight. For me, that's impressive. It gets a little better. Well, of course, as you lose units, it gets a lot easier, especially when you start losing vehicles. Rob from Spotting Round, he told me, don't, use those vehicles wisely. I figured I needed to push with these vehicles up in here. Man, I've just paid for it. I mean, of course, they're Japanese tanks. They're not very super armored or anything. They do have a couple of 57 millimeter main guns on 3 of them, but they're all, 4 of them, but 3 of the 4 are burning. So mortars, I'm not having much luck with mortars. I did get a pin result out of this guy here firing into the woods. So I guess that's a plus, but I'm not getting much out of the mortar so far. And quite honestly, I'm not sure that, I know you go through the to hit area target when you fire them. And then since it's an area target, they're going to be half strength on their little chart that's on the table here. So that little, whatever that number is over in here. This thing over in here. All right. So, but then once you do that and you move over to the infantry fire table for them, do you go through the modifiers again? Or because it's dry? I mean, I know you get aerial burst in light jungle. So I'm still not quite, I mean, I can do the fire confidently, but I still don't know if I'm doing the die roll modifiers when they actually execute on the infantry fire table. I don't quite know if I'm getting that right. I mean, I'll keep grinding that until I do, or somebody walks me through it with a purpose. Okay, anyhow, that's the end of two turns, a little late at night, watching a football game that's not really a football game. But we're going to keep chugging along. I need to get this done over the next day or two so that it can be posted on the proper day. All right, talk to y'all soon. All right, gang sexy. Let's wrap up the American Devil scenario from Starter Kit. Well, I guess you'd say Starter Kit 4 because there's Japanese in it. ASL Starter Kit Scenario S71, or ASL Scenario S71 as the card says. All right, so I shot video on the first 2 turns because this was with the Japanese, and I'm just learning vehicles and guns. This is all new to me. So, but I went ahead, I started to get a feel for the play of the game, and there's things I'm missing. Like, one of the things that I'm terrible about is target acquisition, marking it. And I had to get Wardrobe to explain to me the letters on the letters on the acquisition markers, you want to associate that with the letter of the vehicle that got the acquisition. But I'm so terrible about putting the acquisition on there. And I'm sure that -1 would be extremely useful in the next time they fire something like that. So I'm bad about that. I think I've got the bounding fire down pretty good. The mortar fire still a little bit weird to me, but I think I got faster with that. It was just remembering that, they're trying to get it to hit not exactly like a vehicle, but you're using pretty much the same table to get it to hit. But then you got to switch it over and use the firepower that they're putting on the target as if it was like an infantry fire on the infantry fire table. So that took me a little while to get used to that. Demo charges the Japanese did use one of them in here that worked out pretty good. That destroyed an infantry squad. So and machine guns. You know, the support web, most support web is pretty routine. So I went ahead and I blew through this thing as well. You know, look, as you can see up in here, really not as much to think about considering all the Japanese tanks are burning up. The last M8 that was sitting over there, he came. Where'd he go? He's over here now. He's down here now. But he was the one that was up over on this side of the map, and he took out the last one. And that AT gun, he's still sitting on that hill. They were never able to get in there close enough. Matter of fact, it got so. He was there for so long, I'd say, you know what? He's good. I'm going to move the medium machine gun crew over here to help put fire on the Japanese crossing to try to get to the village down here. And it worked. Mortar team here. The multi-man, or the MMC with a medium machine gun here. The Greyhound that was sitting in here. My Sherman's still burning. That makes me sad. And then the American infantry getting, you know, they got broken and DM'd and had to route out of there. Every one of them over here rebuilt. And then I had 3 groups over here. One went in here to melee, and he wiped out these Japanese here. Two big 6 infantries with leaders. And then the others shifted back to the woods once they recovered. And then, of course, the last M8 Greyhound, the one that was over yonder, he shot all the way back around here to protect the village here because those are victory locations. Japanese just couldn't get up enough steam. The Americans kept them in check long enough, especially with the M8 sitting here. Once that machine gun got in place, and the infantry did its job through here. So this ends up with the Japanese destroyed 3 full American squads, MMCs. All right, and those are 2 points apiece, so that's 6. And then the M4A3 they destroyed, okay? That's a 6-pointer. So they only got 12 points. They needed 25 points to win the game, or to win immediately, okay? And that's just the way it's going to end because the Americans kept them out. They took no building hexes on map O at all, which would have only been these down here, okay? Here's what I'm going to say. As being a novice to, I think I've got the infantry parts of the squad leader starter kit down pretty good. And use of the machine guns and special weapons. But, you know, I'm still learning vehicles. I think I'm getting better with that. I'm making sure you understand buttoned up, turret covered arc, and the vehicle covered arc, stuff like that. Make sure I understand all of that. But if, as being a novice, I'm going to tell any other novice, you know what? Play the dickens out of the starter kit's designed to progress you from from infantry to guns to vehicles, and then the Japanese rules in the starter kit 4. You know what? Play the dickens out of starter kit 1. There's other scenarios you can get. I picked up a stack from, was it New England Volunteers or something like that? There's always other scenarios out there. Wear it out until you're just so comfortable with the first starter kit, which I don't think it'd take you that long. Then progress to the guns, which guns is the 2-hit process and 2-kill process. That's a little bit of an additive, but they're not real difficult. And then to vehicles. Vehicles is a little tougher, and the Japanese rules are just, to me, they're just out of this world. So I'm going to make sure I avoid Pacific scenarios for a while until I master a lot of this stuff down. But American Devil wrapped up. American victory, by at least 13 points. So I'm going to say that's probably pretty overwhelming. And we're going to be moving on to the next stuff. But I'll tell you what, I'm really enjoying the squad leader stuff, this advanced squad leader starter kit stuff. I've got most of the stuff for the regular advanced squad leader, the full edition, but I don't see me headed down that road soon. My objective is that come September, I want to be able to play Decision at Elst, a Hassel starter kit. I really want to play that, and I got a feeling I'll be able to just fine by then. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon with the next game.